JBN, we keep you informed. 8-year-old boy stabbed to death during dispute in St. Catherine. A mother and her young son were attacked early yesterday morning at their home in Old Harbour Village, St. Catherine. According to the Corporate Communications Unit, CCU of the Constabulary, about 6 a.m., 8-year-old Aaron Masters and his mother were at home when his mother and his stepfather began arguing. The stepfather reportedly stabbed Aaron and his mother with a sharp object. They were taken to the hospital where Aaron died and his mother remains in critical condition. The Old Harbour police are investigating. 2 men killed, 6 injured at Kingston party. 2 men were killed and 6 others injured yesterday morning in a shooting on Talmena Avenue in Bayshore Park, Kingston 17. According to the police, the 8 men were patrons at a party when masked men entered and opened gunfire at the crowd about 12:15 a.m. The lawmen said when the shooting subsided, the 8 patrons were found with gunshot wounds. The police were called and they were taken to the hospital where 2 of the men were pronounced dead and the others treated. The identities of the men have not yet been ascertained. The police also said investigators from the Major Investigation Branch will be leading the investigation. Portmore teen held on gun charges. 19-year-old Davian McDonald was arrested on Friday following the seizure of a gun and several rounds of ammunition on Wheatham Crescent in Portmore, St. Catherine. According to the police, McDonald, who is from the area, has been charged with illegal possession of a gun and ammunition. It is reported that about 7:02 p.m., while police officers were on patrol, McDonald was accosted and searched. The police said the gun was taken from his waistband and he was subsequently arrested and charged. The police said his court date is being finalized. No strings attached, Holness calls for JLP scholarship beneficiaries to pay forward gratitude to future students. Jamaica Labour Party JLP leader Andrew Holness described Friday's donation of Jamaica $2.5 million to the University of Technology Jamaica's UTech Scholarship Fund as a no-strings-attached grant geared towards alleviating the financing challenges of needy students, especially those at risk of deregistration and disbarment from examinations. The party's education fund contributed $1.5 million, with $1 million coming from the Holness Positive Jamaica Foundation. A similar contribution was made to the University of the West Indies Mona on Friday. But Holness, who is also Jamaica's Prime Minister, pledged that neither the JLP nor the foundation would have a hand in the selection of the beneficiaries. He, however, laid down some selection guidelines, insisting that students be made to understand that they needed to give back. They don't have to express gratitude, but what we want them to do is to pay it forward, to either give service now or when they have a chance, when they have gotten employment to contribute to their university, he said during the handover to UTEC's boardroom. The JLP Education Fund, which was launched in July, has granted 5 students full scholarships and 6 others partial scholarships. The fund has also issued 136 bursaries to workers or children or wards of workers of the party. Among the stipulations governing the disbursements is that no beneficiary receive a grant exceeding $150,000 and that students commit to a specific number of hours of voluntary service. Recipients are to be means tested. The Prime Minister also used the occasion to inform UTEC President Professor Stephen Vassiani that he had followed the progress of his news of his pending departure as well as other developments but had opted not to intervene. I wish to thank you for the service you have given to the university. I have read somewhere that you are moving on, Holness told the educator. You have read correctly, quipped Vassiani, who will demit office at year end. The government of Jamaica appreciates the service that you have given and we look forward to your continued service in other areas you choose to give service in. Holness also pledged to implement reforms to tertiary education financing in the next term. Given the list of things that the government has to do now, it's not something that I could promise this term, but it is something that is urgent, and I know the University of the West Indies and UTEC have both made proposals, suggestions about how it should be reformed, and it is something that the government will take up, and we are committed to do that in the next term. We're not signing over sovereignty to the US, says Chang. The practice of federal air marshals traveling on passenger aircraft to and from Jamaica under a revised agreement between the Holness administration and the United States is not about signing over sovereignty, National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang has said. According to Chang, the Air Marshals Services Agreement is a critical part of the long-standing partnership that Jamaica and the United States share on regional security. It's not about handing over sovereignty, as some people would like to think when we enter into relations, said Chang, before signing the revised 11-year-old authorization process for foreign in-flight security officers on overnight flights or grounded emergencies at the Kingston International Airport in Montego Bay on Friday. Chang also noted that the amended arrangement is good for Jamaica, as it adds another layer of safety and security. The pact offers added insurance, allowing for Air Marshals to respond quickly to onboard incidents. He also said that the government was seeking to strengthen all areas of national security and its capacity to patrol the country's borders. The government is not entering a situation where we are being mendicants. We are seeking to act as partners, said the minister. It's not just saying to the Americans, come in and protect your citizens and protect Jamaicans. It's about building capacity, he said. Meanwhile, Donald Tapia, U.S. Ambassador to Jamaica, underscored the importance of the revised authorization, saying the agreement was critical for the deployment of air marshals on short notice. These highly trained law enforcement professionals are dedicated to safeguarding the aviation transportation infrastructure from criminal and terrorist acts 365 days a year around the globe, said Tapia. The ambassador said the agreement was important to the U.S. government because 73% of the 4.3 million visitors who traveled to Jamaica in 2018 were Americans. Murder threat under probe, teacher may face sanctions after vowing to kill child in viral video. A Pembroke Hall High teacher's fate hangs in the balance after she was videotaped on Thursday, hurling death threats repeatedly at a student in a tirade that drew widespread public outrage, triggering an investigation by school authorities and the Ministry of Education. The Reverend Claude Ellis, the principal, said administrators would rely on the education regulations of 1980, a code outlining disciplinary and other procedures in probing the incident. I cannot speak to possible sanctions, but what I know is that the Code of Regulations outlines what are the procedures that are followed when there are instances at school where there are any issues, whether it be student to student, student to teacher, student to parent, Ellis said from his offices at the suburban St. Andrew School. It is uncertain if the matter is the subject of a police investigation. Attempts to speak with Senior Superintendent Jacqueline Coombs, head of St. Andrew Central, and Assistant Commissioner Devon Watkins, head of Area 4 Police, were unsuccessful, as calls to their mobile phones went unanswered. In the nearly 2.5-minute amateur video which went viral Thursday night, the teacher, Marshall E. Crawford, sought to reprimand a schoolboy for talking out of turn while class was in session. She then went ballistic. Minister with responsibility for education, youth and information, Carl Samuda, on Friday chided the teacher, saying her conduct was unacceptable and had no place in her schools. Reports are that Thursday's incident was not the first time the teacher had made such outbursts. What I'm prepared to say is that we've collected the reports from the relevant persons. The ministry personnel is aware of it, as well as our board chairman, said Ellis when asked about prior allegations of misconduct. He did, however, say that Crawford's threats were unprecedented in his 2.5 years at the institution. Ellis said that he has since met with the parent of the child. I have met with the parent, we have had some good amicable discussions, and the parents are supportive of the school and willing to cooperate with the school, the principal said. The Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, has described the incident as unfortunate. Samuda on Friday warned public school teachers to act with professionalism and decorum, notwithstanding challenges dealing with difficult or uncooperative students. The ministry further said that teachers are held to high standards and must demonstrate ethical behavior in their interaction with students, colleagues, parents, and others. School administrators and the governance bodies are being reminded to enable an environment that will promote appropriate behaviors for teachers, parents, and students. The ministry urges stakeholders' cooperation as we endeavor to ensure holistic education for every child, the ministry said in a statement issued Friday afternoon. Government scales back police station renovations. The government has revised its plan to renovate 60 police stations island-wide during the fiscal year 2019-2020, overhauling the project and tweaking its scope because of the magnitude of the repair job. According to the National Security Minister, Dr. Horace Chang, the gravity of dereliction into which some police facilities had fallen requires greater inflows of investment, including wholesale reconstruction. The ministry might have to front-load repairs to 5 or so stations in the next financial year. We are building a couple which were not in the original plans. We are building a new divisional headquarters in Spanish Town, St. Catherine and Savlamar, Westmoreland, said Chang during a tour of the newly renovated Trenchtown Police Station in Kingston. We only have 186 police stations and we ought to maintain them better. 46 police stations were repaired in 2018 under the National Security Ministry's Rebuild, Overhaul and Construct initiative, the ministry revealed. Refurbishment of the Trenchtown Police Station cost $11.7 million, including repairs to roofing, bathrooms, the guard room, electrical fixtures, and the signage. Work was also done to the kitchenette, fencing, and the surveillance systems. The facelift included painting of the building and renovation to the reception area and detention facilities. It's understood that the dorms were very uncomfortable for the cops, and so new beds were acquired. This is a tough police area. The windows here weren't working, doors weren't working, and the police had old furniture, Chang said, praising contractors U-Built Construction Services for doing a good job. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.